Good morning, Aylesford class. Hope you're all well. Hope you had a lovely weekend, a nice long weekend. So I'm away at the minute. So hopefully Mrs. Porter will be with you this morning for a bit of computing. And we're going to be starting a new little topic this week for computing, which I'll explain a little bit more detail in a moment. But what I thought we would do, as we've been set a Times Table Rockstars competition, is I thought it'd be lovely for the next 20 minutes or so, everybody log on to Times Table Rockstars, try and get as many points as we possibly can. So I'm on Times Table Rockstars right now. And this is the latest score as of 7:30 on Monday night, which is when I'm recording this for you guys. So it might be different right now, but right now, in my time, Monday evening, Detling are 173 points, Aylesford 144. So we're not too far behind. So we can catch this up really easily. So I thought it'd be wonderful in the next 20 minutes, you could spend some time, everybody logging on to Times Table Rockstars. Let's see if we can get a really good commanding lead over Detling class, so they know that this week is going to be really difficult for them to beat us. So you can pause this video now, log on, get some points. Okay, everybody. So once hopefully you've got loads and loads of points, and hopefully we've got a really good commanding lead. I'll have a look at this at home while you're doing this, and hopefully I can see a huge lead being opened up. So let's quickly talk about our computing today. So as always, we're going to use Purple Mash for our computing this morning. And we're going to start looking this week at parts of a computer. And we're looking at two types of parts of the computer, something called hardware and something that's called software. So let me talk to you about the difference between the two as we go along through here. So let's see if I can get this to work. So hardware, I can just type this in here. Hardware is when you are looking at the physical things of the computer. So things you can touch, the things that you have to use in order to make the computer work. So for example, if I look here at this picture of a computer, the screen would be a piece of hardware. The keyboard would be a piece of hardware. The mouse would be a piece of hardware. These are all things that you can physically touch, and you can upgrade them. So you could buy better screens, better keyboards, mouse, computer units, memory units, graphics cards. You can change these bits of the computer to make them run quicker. The other thing we've got, and I'll just do another one here, is software, which is the opposite of hardware. And let's see if I can just make it nice and big so you can see it. Software is the parts of the sort of software packages. So they're the programs that run on the computer. So it might be a game that you might have loaded onto your computer. It might be a word processing software package, so like Microsoft Word or Microsoft PowerPoint. These are software packages that you load onto the computer, and you use those packages to create things and to do bits of work on. So hardware means physical, and software means the actual programs that are downloaded onto your computer that you can access. So we're going to look at the different parts today that make up a computer. And at any point this morning, if you guys forget anything, then you can rewatch this video and you can sort of recap what we've been talking about. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is the motherboard. And you can see here in this picture, this is a picture of the motherboard. And you can see here all these different bits are chips. And these are filled with lots and lots of information which tell the computer how to work. So it's a bit like the brain of the computer. And it's printed on a circuit board. So this sort of green sort of plastic here that you can see in the background is what we call the circuit board. And all these different circuits get put onto the computer, and they hold all the information needed. Now, every part of the computer has memory that is connected to it, and this allows communication between all the different parts. So all these different parts allow the computer to talk to all the different parts that it needs to work. Next thing is what we call the CPU. So you can see here's a CPU. You can see it's actually on top of the motherboard. If I go back to the previous picture, there's a CPU there. Okay, so this is a CPU. And the CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. This is the brains of the computer. So this is where all the calculations take place, and it's responsible for running all the different programs. So all the programs we use on the computer are running because of the CPU, the Central Processing Unit. And they're not just found on computers. CPUs can actually be found in mobile phones. So all your mobile phones and tablets will have a CPU in it that runs the programs on it. Things like DVD players, and even more advanced fridges and washing machines now have CPUs because they run the different programs in order to make it work. Now this is something called RAM. And you can see here we've got these sort of black rectangles. And RAM means random access memory. So it's the memory of the computer. It stores all the information that helps the computer run really quickly. And the information is stored temporarily, which means after a while, it can disappear when the computer is turned off. So it will hold memory while the computer's on, and when the computer's turned off, it disappears, it goes. And it is measured in something that we call bytes. Sometimes you hear them as gigabytes, or gigs for short. And if you've got a USB stick at home, or your phone will have a certain amount of gigabytes, that means how much memory it has, how much information can it store. Okay, so having enough of RAM or random access memory, enough memory is really important because it helps your computer, your phone, or your tablet to run quickly. Now this is the hard drive. Okay, so this is what you actually find in the computers, what it looks like. A hard drive is where all the computer stores all your documents, pictures, games, and videos. So it's another form of memory. And all this data, all this information is stored onto the hard drive. Even when the computer is turned off, it stays there. So it's a bit different from the other one we looked at before. So the larger the capacity of the hard drive, the more information that can be stored on it. Okay. So often, again, on your phones, tablets, PlayStation, Xboxes, laptops, they all have hard drives built in them. And that is how much memory space it can hold. And often, if you're downloading lots of different things, you sometimes need to free up space. Sometimes you need to delete space off your hard drive to allow more things to be downloaded onto it. Now, this is something called the graphics card. Graphics cards are very important if you run software packages that contain lots of videos and lots of graphics. So often a lot of video games use them. And these graphic cards are parts of the motherboard that we saw earlier on. And if you play lots of video games, you need to have graphics cards because they basically allow the CPU to communicate to the computer and allow the graphics to pop up on your screen. Sometimes they're known as video cards. And again, the more powerful your graphics card is, the more smoothly your graphics will come up onto your screen. This is something called a network card. Now, sometimes what you might find is this piece here would be the piece that you see on the outside of your computer. And you can see you can plug things in here. This is what it looks like on the inside. And a network card, if you think about the word network, which means linking things up together, a network card allows your computer to join a network. So it allows a computer to send and receive information from a network of computers. So it communicates to lots of computers. And it often allows it to connect to the internet. Remember, the internet is a network of lots of computers all around the world joined up together. Now you can connect it physically. Sometimes you have a cable that you can actually plug into your computer, and that will allow you to join onto the internet. That's called an Ethernet cable. Most computers and phones and tablets now are connected wirelessly. and they're connected to something called a Wi-Fi network. So I'm sure most of you at home will have a Wi-Fi network set up, so your phones and PlayStations and TVs can be linked to it. Okay, so here's some hardware that we'll talk about before. So this is the monitor. So the monitor is just the screen. And the graphics card that we talked about earlier allows the screen to show us what you're actually doing on the computer. If your computer's touch sensitive, it means you can control what you're doing with your fingers. But for instance, right now, my computer, my graphics card is linking up to my monitor, and it's showing me that my mouse is moving around, and I can actually see my mouse moving right now. Speakers, and speakers are used so we can actually send music and sound through them. So they'll be connected to something called a sound card. The sound card is going to be part of the motherboard, and the computer motherboard will send information through to the speakers, and the speakers will then project the sound that's happening in the video game or the music or the films that we're watching or listening to. Sometimes we get speakers actually built into the monitor. So my laptop doesn't have separate speakers. The speakers actually built into the computer. Some will actually have separate speakers that look like this. Keyboard and mouse, which you know quite well. You need them, don't you, if you're going to type in information. So if you want to input information, excuse me, into the computer, the keyboard will allow you to do that. It allows you to type in letters and numbers and symbols into the computer. So often you use it when you're typing in information. And the mouse allows you to control the pointer, click things on the screen as well. Most mice here, like we have on the computer room, will have two buttons, a left and a right button. And some also have this scroll wheel that allows you to scroll up and down your page quickly as well. So those are the most sort of common features of the computer. Now, what I want you guys to do is I've set you a to-do challenge, and I want you guys practicing remembering parts of the computer. So I've set you this challenge. It's called Parts of a Computer, and this is a picture memory game. So it says match up the picture with the description. So if I press play, this is what it looks like. So pictures and the descriptions have all been jumbled up. You can see down here, I begin 30 minutes as a timer to see if I can complete it in less than 30 minutes. So all you do is you hover your mouse over one of the cards and click it. Right, so it says graphics card. So I need to find the text that tells me what graphics card is. So let's click one down here. Oh, it says RAM, random access memory. Right, so it's not that one. So part of the game is trying to remember, right, that's a graphics card, that's RAM. Short-term memory. Now RAM was down there. Right, I've managed to match those two up together. Okay, so this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to unveil it, runs the different programs. Let's see what we get. Helps you play games. Oh, right, we had graphics card earlier on. Oh, that's motherboard. Runs the different programs, no. Monitor. Displays images. You get the idea. You get the idea of what you need to do. So have a go playing this game and see whether you can match up the pictures and the descriptions as you go along. Right, everyone, so hopefully you've unveiled all of your parts of the computer. So now what you're going to do is we're going to now move on to displaying this information, and we're going to do so on a leaflet. So this is what the leaflet looks like. And again, what I've done is I have set this for you to do as a to-do list. On your to-do list, there's a to-do mission for you to do. So this is what it looks like. And what I want you to do for the rest of your morning is to create this leaflet with lots of information as you can about all the different parts of a computer. So first, before I get on and show you what yours will look like, this is a digital leaflet. So it's designed to make it look as much like a paper leaflet as you would. And normally a leaflet would open up. So you can see here, down in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little symbol with a purple arrow and a little corner of your page. If you click that, it will unfold the paper. You see there's another one here. So I've actually unfolded this leaflet. And if I want to go back again, it will fold it back up again for me if I want to. So you've actually got a front cover, and you've got another side here, another side here, another side here. And if I just remove that checklist out of the way, there's another one on this side as well. So you've got lots of different parts. And this green arrow here, if I click that, it will flip it over for me as well. So you've got, imagine it's like a piece of paper that you have got access to that you can flip over so that you can put as much information as you can on your leaflet, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back and just close. So I'm going to do this one. There we go. Let's close up. Ooh, I should have done the other side first, shouldn't I? We'll close up our leaflet just so what it looks like closed up. So this is what it looks like. And here you can see this box here is a checklist. And if I hover my mouse over it, it will tell you some information about each part of the computer. So say, for example, motherboard. It says here, main printed circuit board. Every part is connected to it, allows communication. So that allows you to get the definition for each part of the computer. CPU, the brains of the computer. RAM, random access memory, store information and run quickly. Temporary, measured in gigabytes. And this is the same all the way down. Okay. Now, it says here, what is inside a computer? That's your title. But you can click on it and highlight it. The title, though, is there for us. We want to keep that title the same. Here, we've got a picture box. So if you click on the green arrow, there's lots of different pictures, all linked to our topic that you can use for your leaflet. I'm just going to use that one. That looks quite nice. This arrow here can zoom in if I wanted to zoom in, or if I wanted to zoom out. I want to try and fill the space, so I'll do mine that looks like this. And I'm happy, so I'll press choose. So there's my picture. And then it says here, computer is made up of hardware and software. Hardware, software. So it says right in here, you could write in here the definition for each one. And then it says here, this leaflet will give you information about the parts of a computer. So that's the first things you're going to include. And remember, up here where the A is, you can click on the A and you can select what font size you want, what font you want to use, what font family. Now remember, font family means what font you're using. You might remember a few weeks ago, we did some work about choosing the right font. So choose a font that's clear, that people can read, and keep to the same font all the way through your leaflet. So it looks consistent and it looks really nice. Don't use lots and lots of different fonts and lots of different colors and lots of different sizes, because your leaflet won't look very nice. So once you've done that, you can then open up the next bit and you can start to think about different parts. Now, components, and here we've got peripherals. Peripherals basically means parts of the computer that you plug in and use to help you access the computer. So a peripheral, for example, here we've got on our list would be a speaker, and a keyboard, a mouse, and a monitor. They're things you actually plug into the computer to make it run, and you use them. You can upgrade those peripherals to ones that you think are better. If you've got an Xbox or a PlayStation, a peripheral for that might be the controllers that you can use. You can buy more of them if you want to play with more people. You can sometimes buy upgraded headphones, can't you? So you can play, when you play over the internet, you've got them you can listen to. So that's what peripheral means. Components means parts of the computer, the things on the inside. And again, if you think about the, we've used the word components, haven't we, when we did our electricity unit science, didn't we? So components means the parts, electrical parts on the inside. So like the motherboard is going to be component, the CPU is going to be a component, the RAM is going to be a component. So on this checklist, everything down to network card is a component, and then monitor, speaker, keyboard is peripheral. So you might want to list those things there. And then we've got rooms here for more pictures. So you might want, for example, you might want to select, let's see if I was going to do, there's a CPU there. So if I choose a CPU there, and then what I might want to do is underneath it where it says CPU, it says the brains of the computer. So underneath I could say the CPU is the brains of the computer. It sends messages from the motherboard to all the different parts of the computer. So you can actually describe what it's being used for. Got some more down here that you might want to fill in. If I open up, we've got some more parts here. It says the main parts of the computer. So you've got loads of room. So for example, I might want to do, let's have RAM. Maybe I want to do RAM. So if I clicked on here, and that's a hard drive. That's the motherboard. Oh, that's the RAM. So I might want to choose that as my picture. And I might want that one to be my CPU. Oops. So that's the hard drive. Let's do that one. Okay, oops. Now you can draw them, but I don't want that. I think it doesn't work very nicely. So I'm going to, up here, there's the undo button. I can click that to do that. And remember, if you're not happy with it, you can click on the little rubber icon. It says, are you sure you want a clear image? Yes, I do. Okay, so have a bit of fun making your leaflet. Remember, you want to try and make them as detailed as possible. Okay, now if you lose your checklist, the checklist is this green tick here. So if I click on it again, it will come back up again. I click on that little line there, it will make it small. So it doesn't take up most of my space. And also here, if you're not too sure, there's a help button here. It tells you what you need to do. And also, if you forget what some things are, you could also go back to the video that we've just been watching. I've just been doing for you, rewind it, and also you can also go to your quiz here. So one top tip you can do is if you have your quiz open in one tab and your other leaflet on another tab, you can jump between the two and you can use that to help to remind you what they do as well. So that's another little top tip. So by the end of the lesson, you want to have your leaflet finished and you want as many different parts of your computer all made on your leaflet. And when you're finished, all you need to do is go up to the purple box up here and press save. And it should save into your work accounts. And remember, a top tip is to save often. Okay, so save every 5 minutes or so. So then if you do make a mistake or something happens to your computer, you don't lose all your work. So this is your computing this morning, guys. Hope you have a lovely morning. If you finish your work early and Mrs. Porter's checked it, do feel free to go back onto Times Table Rockstars, get as many points as possible. Enjoy your forest school this afternoon, and I'll see you on Wednesday morning. See you later, everybody.